Alright guys, this is the Eagle H tight formation out of shotgun. And this is not a formation that I use a whole lot. However, it is definitely a formation that has things that are good out of it. So, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but the way that I like to play, this is just not one of my main formations. However, it does have its purpose in the scheme. So, we'll come out in, I guess, just a random man blitz. So, edge sting. Now, one of the main things I like about this is, well, there's two things. When I come out in Snugs flipped, as I'll do here, and I've already broken down how to get a receiver at the tight end spot. So when we audible to this, it's really dominant because it allows us to have a receiver pretty much lined up at all times versus a linebacker. It doesn't matter if it's quarter, whatever the case may be. Now the plays that I use are going to be FL deep in, KC stick nod, and then double cross flood special. Flood special I do not use a whole lot. However, as you'll notice, it does have double blues. On the plays deep in, you see it's just got the one on the left. So what I do is I streak the A guy, the guy that should be the tight end. And what that's going to do is if your opponent's, pretty much hell-bent on blitzing you at a man, should be able to simply bomb him just on the speed factor alone. So we'll go ahead, we'll show you again. So here's a two-man under. Say, they're trying to take away underneath routes, whatever the case may be. You can simply streak, fade, doesn't really matter. And then you have a crossing route, and you have, or two crossing routes, as well as the delay. So you'll see right here, I mean, it's just the separation he gets is beyond silly. Because he's, like I said, he's pretty much always going to be on a linebacker. Go to the replay just to show you. That was a fade right there. Streak will do the same. It just takes a bit longer. So at this point, you pretty much know you have him. I mean, he's got 3 yards already, and it's just going to continue to grow. So we'll go ahead. I'll show it versus edge sting just to show you that there's no difference. So versus edge sting, you see that it's still going to be the same. You're still going to have that linebacker, even if a safety is there, and just lob it up. So he didn't get the greatest separation that time. I don't really know why, but he's still going to beat him I'd say probably 99 out of 100 times. It's definitely one of my big plays I go to when I'm expecting either a lot of adjustments out of man coverage or if I'm just sensing an all-out blitz. So the other routes on that play are pretty solid, especially versus man. I'll show you real quick here. So you see that that guy is pretty much always going to beat his guy. And then you got the in route on the right. That should beat his guy 9 out of 10 times as well. So here's two-man under. So pretty much as soon as he makes his break, you see just wide open. Those are the primary reads, and if you have time, the delay route that is on the left, he should be wide open. I don't trust these routes. However, a lot of people, like Sam and Pete, they use those delay routes a lot, and they're really effective. They really annoy me in terms of me playing defense against them. The post route, if they are in off coverage man, tends to work. If they are in man press, it tends not to, or at least not to work very well. So you see, that was man press right there. It works pretty well, but if they have that safety back deep, obviously that route is just a decoy at that point. So we'll go ahead, two-man under, I think, right? Yeah, so two-man under, press again. Well, I quick hiked myself. So let's go to the actual play I'm trying to talk about. We'll go cover one this time, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Um, so this is edge sting. I'm going to just make random adjustments so I don't get screamed at. Um, but I just want to show the post. Now, for whatever reason, this guy is lined up to the inside. So if they're lined up like on the receiver and not to the inside for no apparent reason, you'll see that this post route, Jesus, I moved him, and it got worse. But that's definitely a route you want to look forward to when you see a man off coverage. I'd say out of every route, that's pretty much your final read, but it's definitely something that'll get wide open for a touchdown. So on to the next, and that is going to be next coverage, cover 3. So at a cover 3, this is not my favorite play, but the one adjustment I do from time to time is I'll move this. What the hell just happened? I will move this outside guy to the inside, and then I will simply put him on a streak. So it gives me just a dual streak concept with 3 crossing routes. Once again, cover 3 can't possibly stop them all, so you pretty much just throw up whichever one is open, the most open. Cover 2 is good against this set in general. The one route that you really have is going to be the post route. However, it does take some time to get to, so pretty much you'll see you have to wait a bit to throw that. So you throw the underneath routes if they're in a cover 2. If for whatever reason you do have that route, by all means, if you have the time to throw it, throw it. The play double cross. Now this is my main play out of the entire formation, and I love the dual crossing routes on this. So what I do on this is pretty much the same setup. I simply just fade the A receiver if I'm expecting man, and I streak him if I'm expecting zone. So here is going to be a cover 3. And pretty much I just throw the underneath routes, and if the safety is on the right hand side in a zone, so let's see, pretty much if their defense looked like this, where this safety is deep, then you can bomb the streak route by Fowler right here, the A receiver. Otherwise, I tend to just hit these drag routes, and it's just those are always going to be my primary reads. But as you see here, you can bomb that route. But the reason I like that play so much is because it torches man coverage. Once again, a lot of people are just living and dying in man coverage, and when they run this, there's just really nothing that they can do. So you auto motion him, and the drag routes, for whatever reason, get so wide open, especially versus any sort of man blitz, that you catch people off guard significantly with those routes. So, I mean, you see that, I don't know, they get wide open. It doesn't really matter who's guarding them or what the case may actually be. Those are pretty much my main reads when using this formation. So the final thing that I'm really going to focus on, the final 2 things, flood special is just one of those things. If you see your opponent running heavy man blitzes, like edge sting, you could do this play and pretty much just wait until they leak out. Both guys leak into the flats. Neither of them will be covered. It's a nice way to pick up a huge chunk against heavy man blitzes. Also, if your opponent is really focusing, on those by chance, the little out route is going to get open, as you see there. And if they are in let's see, what am I in? So say they're pressing. When you audible to flood special, you have the unbumpable fade on the right and the in route on the left. So you also will have those routes. You see in route's going to get wide open right there. Try to get the unbumpable fade on the right. I didn't get it again, but the once you get the timing down with that, it's really nice. Um, nice play overall. But the final thing is, if your opponent's in a cover 3, um, the play stick and knot is really good. And that's because Norwood right here, you actually can bomb. So what you're going to do is you're going to max protect on this, and I'll explain why here in just a second. But then you want to streak A and curl X. After that, you can do whatever you want with the outside guy on the right. I tend to drag him as well, just to give me a quick hitting read in case it's a blitz. And you'll notice the reason that you have to block Y is the quarterback's going to do a dumb little pump fake right here. So I guess I was still in edge sting right there, but you see that the main read we're trying to throw to is that little stick nod route, and he's going to always be open. It doesn't really matter what your opponent's in. So the drag combo versus man along with that guy and the streak slash fade to the tight end, so to speak, is going to be open. The curl beats man as well. So all of those are going to beat man. But the main thing I like about it is how they're going to beat zone. So finally get it set up right there. Audible to cover 3. So standard cover 3. If you can get time with this, you'll see that the RB receiver is going to be wide open. I'll show you the replay. The issue with this play is you really struggle to get time because of this dumb little pump fake. They tend to just rush really well after that. But you can see this is going to work very similar to our bunch strong formation, where we're just able to bomb cover 3, cover 4, all that stuff. So audible to it one more time, see if I can get it. I'm going to just randomly put these dudes in zones so you can actually see what I'm talking about in terms of the bomb ability. So pretty much if you have the time to throw it, of course I get a bad throw. If you have the time, it's definitely an option. Now verse, I guess a cover 2 in theory would stop this play. But at that point you just got to hit either B or RB. So you'll see I missed the initial drag, RB got covered, so that is the weakness to that play. You're pretty much forced to chuck it down to the drag. And that's really it. That's the gun eagle H-tight formation. As I mentioned, not a formation I use a lot. When I do audible to it, I'm looking to hit the quick passes. I'm looking to either hit the drag routes on the play, the double slot cross, I think it's called. Yeah, double slot cross. And then if I'm expecting a real heavy man blitz, I tend to go to flood special or FL deep in. KC stick knot is one of those plays where, you know, end a half, my opponent's in a cover 3, cover 4, not really rushing many people. I can throw that one. But those are pretty much how you're going to run that formation. And I know a lot of you guys in the chat have really been focusing on that formation. So if you guys have other stuff to share out of that, by all means share it. This is just how I personally run this formation. So that is it. Moving along.